Hey guys, I know we're getting ready for Q4, and today I'm super excited. We're going to share with you the Goldilocks method of shipping for Amazon sellers for Q4. We're going to show you how not to run out of stock, but at the same time, not keep too much stock so you don't get killed on fees in Q4. So we're going to show you the Goldilocks method, how to do this just right. Joining me today is Ephraim Ausch. He's the Chief Logistics Officer for Tactical Logistics. Welcome. How's it going?
Good. Good to see you, Gary.
Yeah, it's good to have
Thank you for
you.
having me. Same here.
Yeah,
It's good to be here.
yes, I think this is a very important topic, and I'll just be honest. It's not the sexiest topic because most people they're focusing on PPC, they're focusing on Rufus, they're focusing on launch strategy for Q4. But I think this is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of Amazon sellers, especially six, seven, eight-figure sellers, they're making because most people they focus on the front end. And I was talking to Ephraim, he says like a lot of people overlook all this stuff, and it's gonna kill you, right? If you run out of stock, if you have too much in stock, I mean that's one of the cardinal sins of Amazon selling. So he's gonna show you how to really bulletproof your supply chain for Q4. So for those of you meeting Ephraim for the first time, he's a veteran in the e-commerce space. He's been in e-com since 2011. He started off as a seller, and then he transitioned to a service provider. And Ephraim, before we get into this, can you just tell us, like share with us a little bit about your story? I mean, you started off as a seller in 2011. How did you get into e-com?
So, I was after I finished, I graduated high school, and I was really like looking for anything and everything. Like, I did not go to college. I'm not great at tests and studying and stuff like that. I enjoy more to do things. So I was like trying to figure out. I looked in the classifieds that we have in Brooklyn where I live. Like they have these newspaper with classifieds. So I was like looking for any open position. So I found an open position at a candy company. They had four store locations and a website. No Amazon presence. They were looking for like an inside salesperson to just take calls, people that call in and just take their calls, put in their orders in the system. So I started with that. I did that for like 3, 4 weeks. And the owner had like his desk was like next to mine, but he had his own private office. Then he had in the main office, he had also a desk. So he sat next to me. He's like, "Why are you doing this stuff? Like, you should do something more than that." So I said, "Like, I'm open to it. Like, what do you have in mind?" It's like, we tried Amazon a year ago. It did not work out well at all. We shut down the account. But do you know anyone that sells on Amazon? So like, oh, I'm like, a lot of my friends started selling on Amazon. That was the golden age for selling on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon was 2010, 2012,
Mm-hmm.
2013. So, so he's like, would you be open to reopening our account and like trying something new? So I said like, sure. So I went to one of my friends that was selling already for like a year. He gave me like the basic crash course how things work, and like that's how it started. Like I started the Amazon business. In the first 10 months, we did $1 million in revenue.
Nice.
We did pretty well. There was no PPC at that time. There's no advertising at all. I remember at the end of that job that I had over there, PPC came out and we spent $18 for $5,000 in revenue. That's what we got. That was the first month that we tried PPC. So today's days, $18 gets you $0 in revenue. So it was pretty good. Did that for almost 2 years. Then I decided to go on my own. I love the candy, chocolate, grocery type of products. It was more
Mm-hmm.
exciting, makes people happy. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided to go into the gift business where I created gift baskets for like all the holidays, like
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New
Mm-hmm.
Year's, Valentine's Day, Easter, vice versa. I did that for from 2013, end of 2013 till 2017. I was selling gift baskets on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Were they
very
like
seasonal.
candies or were they like dry goods or what?
So it was dry fruits, candy, popcorn, chocolates,
Mm-hmm.
like sweets,
Chocolate is
more or less
tough
sweets.
logistically because you got to deal with the temperature so they don't melt, right? I mean,
Right. So only
can you
winter,
not sell in the
right?
summertime? I mean, when it's super hot, like
Only FBM, but it was not profitable at all at that
yeah.
time. And it was a very seasonal business. And Amazon came out then sometime in 2015, maybe, or beginning of 2016 with the Inventory Performance Index, the IPI score.
Yes.
So that's when I really started getting killed, where it happened at a point where in the summer I sold maybe 5,000 units total for the whole summer. And then in the winter I sold 42,000 units, right? So the IPI score saw that I'm selling very little, so I wanted to send in a lot into Amazon. They didn't allow me to. So it started getting really difficult. And then there was a drought for nuts, like for pistachios, almonds, and these things. There was a drought in South America. That's where most of it came from. And the price skyrocketed. And then I had to change the pricing on all my listings, where I had to go up with around $10 on average per unit, per gift basket. And I lost the buy box and everything. So I wrote an email at that time, Jeff at Amazon.com, still
Amazon.
worked back then.
Okay.
I sent out an email with a whole sob story where, like, I'm a small business owner, I have a family, I have a child, like please try to see if you can help me get my buy box back so I could do PPC, so I could actually sell product. So within 45 minutes, I put like an email tracker on it because I wanted to see if somebody's going to read it.
Yeah.
So within 45 minutes, I started getting like notification, like around 400 notifications within like a 15-minute period. That's how many notifications I got that someone read my email, Like it was like somebody's pinging me nonstop. So after 15 minutes, I got a call from Jeff Bezos' executive team saying they reviewed my email. They're looking into it. It should be resolved in the next 3 or 4 hours. And then actually 3 hours later, I got an email saying that, hey, you received a buy box on all your listings. So that was my last year. I think it was 2016 it happened. That was my last year. It's like, I'm done with this. Like, this is way too much stress, way too seasonal, so many issues. So that's when I transitioned. I sold my company to a friend of mine that sold like grocery items. Before the aggregators, before the fun, where you got like crazy multiples.
Yes.
So he had an all-year-round business just on bulk grocery products. And then I decided to sell it to him. And then I moved on to join family business that's tactical, where my dad is the CEO. Joined the company, and that's how we started the e-commerce. So my dad was focused on 3PL for big box store retail, people that sold to TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Walmart, Target. That was his main client base, and then I grew it into the e-commerce space, where now we have over 500 Amazon sellers using us for multiple services, and also people that sell on Shopify, TikTok Shop, etc. So that's basically my story, my journey.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So let's get into this. So for Q4, I mean, why do sellers need to prepare for Q4? Why is it so important?
The most important thing for sellers, obviously, most sellers see a spike in sales. So how do you manage that, right? Sorry. So how do you manage basically a spike in sales? So somebody have 3 times their sales, sometimes have 10 times their sales, depending what type of product they do, especially if they're in the gifting business. Obviously, Q4 is a very strong season for them. And that's where a lot of people can make mistakes. So if you're a new beginner, a lot of people make mistakes with overstocking Amazon. Oh, I manufactured 3,000 units. I'm going to send everything to FBA because it's Q4, right? But you have no sales proven at that point. You have no idea if you're going to actually sell it. You're going to sell through it. Storage is through the roof, where you pay, all year round, you pay, I think, 68 cents per cubic foot. And Amazon FBA storage. In Q4, you pay $2.38, I believe, in Q4.
So from 60 cents to $2.40, right?
Correct.
That's like
So
4x.
exactly. So that means you're paying around, let's say if you look at Amazon standard size pallets, when you send in product to Amazon, it's 48 by 40 by 72 inches high. That's the Amazon requirements on selling product. Now, when you do Q4, multiply the same amount. So in all year round, it comes out to be around between $60 to $70 a pallet. If you keep that as your way of considering a product, like I'm going to send a pallet into Amazon, it's costs you around $60, $65 a month.
Okay.
Now Q4, it costs you around between $160 to $190 a month a pallet.
How much?
It's between $160 and $190.
Okay.
So keep in mind, where if you're supposed to be making on this pallet, I'm just throwing numbers, but everybody does it on their unit base. But let's say you're supposed to be making $500 profit, gross profit on this pallet, right? So when Amazon charges you $60, okay, so that's 400 something dollars in my pocket. If Amazon charges you $192, $180, depending how high it is, that's almost half of your profit of the product, right? So when you oversend product into Amazon and you have no sales history on the product, you got to be super careful. But at the same time, replenishing product in Q4, it takes a while. It takes longer. So that's where a lot of people have that challenge. Like, what do I do? So if you do not have sales proven at this point on this product, take the back seat here. Send in a couple hundred units. Maybe usually we recommend 200 to 300 units to start. Maybe Q4 send in 500 units. But don't send in 3,000 units. Yep. Because if you're paying a crazy high storage and at the end this product doesn't work out like you want it, and you have to do a removal order, Amazon charges you for a removal order, the high Q4 storage, plus you're spending money to ship it into Amazon, all that could generate a huge loss for you. So that's where I'm telling people is like, try to think twice. That's for more of a beginner or somebody that starts with a new listing. For people that already know their game, I always say is like, look at your past history. So last year you did, let's say you sold 30,000 units, right? But after last year, Q4, your all year round business picked up, let's say by 5 or 8%. You grew 5-8%. Now, when you get to the new Q4, keep in mind is like, because you got that boost for the past year already, where since last Q4, your sales went up. Obviously, don't prepare the exact amount like you prepared last year because you grew over the year, right? But always give yourself that buffer where you see like usually Q4, I have 3 times my sales. Then you know I'm sending in 3 times my sales. I would say give yourself a buffer of 10%. But don't overstock like crazy. There's this thing where in the past when I was a seller, but even later on, like 2018, 2019 COVID days, where people like, as much as they're able to dump onto Amazon, they dumped onto it. It's not the case. Amazon is not here to be your warehouse storage center. They're here to be a distribution center where product comes in, it goes out. And if you're overstocking it, your sales velocity gets messed up, your inventory performance index gets messed up, and all that could generate an issue where Amazon caps you. Hey, you cannot send in any product into Amazon anymore. You have limits, right? Now, you have 10 SKUs that are not selling that well, and then I have, let's say, 10 SKUs that sell very well, but because I overstocked the 10 units that don't sell so well, now I'm punished on my 10 units that really sell well. I can't replenish now. So all these things you have to keep in mind where you have someone on your team or you yourself manage it really properly, where you send it as you need. But when you get to Q4, obviously keep in mind, things take longer to get received, things get longer to get delivered, things get longer to get an appointment on Amazon. All that in consideration is where I tell people is like, if you are a Black Friday, Cyber Monday seller, make sure by mid-October everything gets shipped in. So you have your product, let's say, beginning of October, and by mid-October, everything goes into Amazon for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If you're more of a Christmas time seller, I would say by end of October, 2 weeks later, make sure that everything is sent in. Because Amazon's receiving takes longer, their FC transfer and processing takes longer. All of that takes longer in Q4. Amazon themselves said last year, they didn't say anything yet this year, but we'll find out soon, where like we're focused on September, October, we're focused on receiving product. November, December, we're focusing on shipping product. So that's their focus. So automatically they're shifting a lot of their resources from receiving to actually process orders or deliver orders, all that. So that's what someone has to keep in mind is like, don't decide November 15th, oh, I'm going to send in now 2 truckloads of product and think that it's going to be on Amazon shelves in like a week or 2. It's not the case. It's going to take 3-4 weeks till it hits. And if it hits the shelves on December 15th, you're only left over with a couple of days to still deliver and arrive before Christmas. So all these things are experiences where I've seen talking to sellers where people messed up a lot. So that's on the FBA side.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to recap for people that are tuning in. So I think a couple of big points, guys. I mean, we're talking about on one hand, you don't want to understock, but on the other hand, you don't want to overstock and get killed by the fees. And I think one of the big takeaways is, I mean, the fact that Amazon's resources, they're limited, right? So it sounds like before the end of October, they're focused on receiving all of the stock, right? So you got to make sure for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, mid-October, get everything into Amazon so you can make sure you can crush it for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for Christmas, everything by end of October. Because after end of October, it sounds like Amazon, they're shifting their resources from receiving to processing to getting everything out. So if you wait until like November 15th, that's going to be too late. You're going to get like 2-3 week delays. You're going to miss out on the bulk of Q4. Am I understanding that right?
Correct.
Ephraim?
Correct. Yeah, and so even like a lot of sellers use Amazon partner carriers to get their stuff delivered, or they use UPS. UPS is a little bit faster, but let's say on Amazon partner carriers, for example, that could take sometimes 3-4 weeks in Q4 till it actually checks in. Keep in mind, there's a part where things have to get checked in, and then once it gets checked in, it goes through their transit facilities, where from there it goes to FC transfer, where that gets distributed around all over the United States and all their FCs. So keep in mind, there's like, once it checks in, doesn't mean it's on the shelf yet. It's going to take a couple of weeks till that hits the shelves in Amazon FBA. So even for people that use third-party carriers, like we provided, there's a bunch of companies out there that provided where they have live onload appointments. That means Amazon gives an appointment, let's say for November 5th. The trucker shows up on November 5th at 10 a.m. Amazon checks in and offloads this truck. That actually goes into FC transfer quicker, but at the same time, it's going to take a while to go from checked in and received in the transload facility and their main hub to get transferred around FC transfer, where it goes through a bunch of FCs. That still takes some time. So keep that in mind. Even though you know that you're using a third-party carrier where it gets in quicker, it's true, it does get received quicker, but it doesn't get received quicker on the shelves in Amazon FBA. It's the same process. So yeah, using a third-party carrier in Q4 is vital. I would recommend to a lot of people to do that versus using Amazon partner carriers, because I've had stories where certain shipments was like, it showed up January 5th and checked and received. I mean, there's horror stories all the time. So for somebody that sends in 100, 60, 50 truckloads a week, like one truck gets messed up, they can live with it, right? But somebody that's a smaller seller and he has 5, 15 pallets, 20 pallets that he sends in for his whole Q4, and if that shipment gets for some reason sidelined or lost for a day or for a week or 2 weeks, and then it shows up in January, you lost your season. So I would recommend it to anyone that's especially last minute, where they're already end of October, right beginning of November. I wouldn't trust Amazon partner carriers to deliver your goods. And
what would you recommend? I mean, what's the ideal situation?
So depending on your finances, depending how much margin you have in your product, UPS is a faster option than Amazon partner carriers, or using a third-party carrier that does live unloads. And make sure that's a verbal conversation with your logistics provider, is that your shipment is going to be on a live unload. Because sometimes carriers use LTL carriers. LTL carriers are not live unloads. They just show up at Amazon, drop a trailer, leave. Third-party carriers that deliver full truckloads usually are live unloads, because Amazon does not allow me, for example, to bring my assets and drop it there and leave, because I'm not covered by Amazon insurance. So Amazon only allows their prime trucks to drop the trailers in Amazon's yards. They allow a lot of common LTL carriers, also are insured by Amazon, where they could drop their trailers, like a Estes or a Roadrunner, or who else is out there? UPS has their LTL service. A bunch of like these very common LTL carriers, they are covered by Amazon insurance. But regular carriers, full truckloads, are usually not covered. So keep that in mind when you do use a provider, a third party, that it's not going to be an LTL delivery. It's going to be, if it's a full truck, it's a full truck. They'll do their own appointment. But even if it's not a full truck, they're combining with other loads.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So kind of zooming out a little bit, what does the situation look like right now in 2025? Because I know, like, obviously this year has been extremely uncertain with the tariffs, and that's affecting the supply chain. I mean, what are you seeing? And we have also heard like the issues with AWD and not getting like capacity, etc. So, what are you seeing the situation look like right now?
On the Amazon side, it doesn't seem like it's getting any better than last year. The bottleneck is still there. So people should be very focused this year in Q4 to be really well prepared. Um, that would be my biggest piece of advice because like right now, what is it? It's August 4th. AWD, for example, in California, is like literally congested. They're not giving us any appointments right now for the next 2 to 3 weeks. No availability at all to get product delivered to AWD. So that's just August, right? Now keep in mind how September is going to look like and October is going to look like. It's just going to be a total nightmare, especially on the West Coast where a lot of sellers are importing from China, for example, or from other countries that's quicker to bring in products from China or from other countries that are closer to the West Coast. People tend to bring it to the West Coast. AWD is a mess, total mess, still a mess. It's gotten worse in the last 3 weeks, worse than it was 2 weeks ago. We just had a story now on Friday. My driver showed up there at 9 o'clock. His appointment was 11 a.m. Showed up at 9 o'clock. He sent me a picture. There's a ton of trailers waiting to check in. So at 10 o'clock, he goes over to the security guard and asked him like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, we'll get you in. It just might take a couple hours." So you made sure with him I made the right location because they had two facilities, one next to each other. One is the FBA center, one was the AWD center. So you just wanted to make sure he's in the right lane. So he's in the right lane. 12 o'clock, he finally gets to the check-in window for his appointment. But his appointment was 11 o'clock. And we don't see any appointment in our system for you. So what do you mean? Like, this is the ISA number. This is the appointment. Oh, you missed it by an hour. We deleted your appointment. So like, you guys know I was here earlier, right? And I made sure I'm in the right place. There's nobody to call. There's no number to call to talk to anybody. So the only person you can talk to is an intercom machine, like where you buzz and they talk to you over the intercom. And you knew I was here earlier and I asked you a question about am I the right place? He said everything's fine, and now you tell me you can't offload me. Like literally stories like that happen with Amazon, and there's nobody to talk to. So now that same shipment, we try to make an appointment. We got an appointment for 8/21. That's August 21. And this was supposed to be delivered this past Friday. So this is AWD. FBA is 2% better, but depending what location. But definitely people that are banking on using AWD for this Q4, I would be very, very careful with that. If you want to use it, yeah, it saves you money. For some people, it does save them money to use AWD. But doing sales also makes you money, right? So my suggestion is you want to stick to AWD, no problem, but have a buffer. Have it in your own home, in your basement, in a warehouse, at a 3PL. Have no problem, wherever you want. Just have a safety net where you could tap into product. I think we had the live last week with together with Sebastian, right? He said like, you lock it into a room, 200 units or something, like just lock it in and don't touch it. Just touch it when you need it, right? So it's a very important thing to have a safety net, especially if you use AWD. Some people have good experiences. If they come to Texas or they come to New York, it's a bit better than the West Coast. It is. But at the same time, transit times on the ocean takes way longer. It's more expensive on the freight as well. So you got to look at like, how much am I saving already, right? So that's a huge factor. So that's what I would say is like, for this Q4, it looks like it's going to be very similar to last year with the bottlenecks. So make sure that you're really well prepared. That would be my main advice. Sales wise and things like that, I leave that to the analysis and all these people that study data. It's been a weaker, slower year this year. I've seen a little bit increase. It looks a little bit better. I don't know if it's going to be the same as last year or it's going to be a little bit less. But that'll be up to the experts that know and study the economy and the spending and all that. But on your end, whatever you confident that you want to sell on Amazon, just make sure you're protected and you're in the right place.
I see. What about on the seller side, Ephraim? Are you seeing sellers quitting, like getting out of the business this year because of all the tariffs and all this?
So I've been seeing it even before the tariffs. Unfortunately, I would say the smaller guys, the six figure or very low seven figures, are hurting the most.
Hmm.
So every year, obviously, we have people going out of like customers that go out of business, right? They say like, "Yeah, we're closing up shop."
Hmm.
So 2024 was around 10% of my client base closed shop. That was the
Hmm.
biggest number of every year. It's like 2 to 3%, I would say, that just go out of
Hmm.
business. It's a normal thing
Hmm.
when you deal with
Hmm.
a lot of customers.
Hmm.
2024 was 10%. It was a
Wow.
huge number.
Hmm.
So that was really last year. It was before the tariff conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
This year, I still see it more often than I don't. Like I hear stories like I'm done. Like I'm just grinding water for too long. I'm not profitable. There's so many issues that I have with fees or it's competition, all these things. But definitely, I've seen a bigger increase in people shutting doors than on the seller side than I used to.
Hmm.
So for that reason, I'm saying is like if you focus only on the front end, that's the PPC, the listing optimization, the pictures, the listing, super important. It's probably more important than a lot of different things. But your back end, if you have a real strong foundation on your back end, where your logistics is in place, you know how much you're paying for tariffs, you know your costs inside out. If it's sitting in a warehouse for a week, for a month, for 2 months, 3 months, in a 3PL, an AWD, or an FBA, they have a much stronger chance of survival because they really know their cost. But I've
Hmm.
seen many sellers as they try something, they came up with a great idea. They try selling because they feel entrepreneurial. And they watched a bunch of YouTube videos where how to sell on Amazon. It's not that you got to live it and breathe it. But a lot of people don't realize it that the back end is just as important as the front end.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, make
Yeah.
that mistake.
Yeah, that's critical. I mean, it's kind of like the left hand, not talking to the right hand, right? On the left hand, you have all of the front end, the PPC, the listings, optimization. But if on the back end, you're not talking to the inventory, to the supply chain, to if you're pushing all the PPC, but if you run out of stock, I mean, that's a moot cause, right?
Exactly.
Or if you have so much stock in inventory, you're not getting enough sales, and you're getting killed on the storage
The
fees,
storage
right?
fees, right?
So yeah, so you got to make sure, left hand, right hand, we got to be talking to each other. So that's a great point, Ephraim. All right. So we're almost out of time. I know that you guys have a solution to help sellers. Can you tell us a little bit more about SplitSmart?
Sure. So SplitSmart is a newer service that we started a couple months ago, where it's a flat fee going to any Amazon location in the U.S. So we have a terminal in New Jersey, where I'm based out of, and then we have a terminal located in California, in our warehouse in California, where it's a flat fee per pallet. So if you have pallets going to 5 locations, the best way is to do five-way splits for a couple of reasons. We'll go quickly into that.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is it's five-way split gives you a healthier spread. So when Amazon receives your product in transload facilities, every transload facility goes to a certain amount of FCs where they drop the shipment in, and that's where it goes on the shelf. Not every transload facility goes to every single FC. It just doesn't work that way. So every FC has their designated areas where they usually send product to. Now, when you do a five-way split where it's free on Amazon, that's how they provide. Like they want you to do optimized shipping where that's free five-way split. Let's say one goes to California, one goes to Arizona, one goes to Texas, one goes to South Carolina. Let's say one goes to Jersey or Pennsylvania, right? So all these facilities are now going to transload this product to different FCs. Automatically, your spread is a bigger spread in the US. It's a healthier spread. Why am I saying healthier spread? Is when you sell product, right? And your product got you paid a placement fee. You went to one location, let's say in California. You delivered your whole truckload of product. Now Amazon starts distributing around their fulfillment centers, only to a handful of them. Now, when you have competitors that you work with, that you fight with every single day, your competitor did the five-way split where they spread their inventory much better. They start pounding sales, let's say, I'm just giving you an example, in Houston, Texas. They're pounding sales in Houston, Texas for this product. You have zero sales in Houston, Texas. Why? Amazon pushes that seller higher up because Amazon has to spend less money on getting it delivered to the customer in Houston because they have products sitting in their FC in Houston. That's one reason. Second reason is the customer sees, oh, I could get this today by 2 p.m. I could get this tomorrow morning delivered.
Ephraim,
Your
I'm
pro-
sorry, we just lost your audio. Can you still hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, I hear you now. Sorry, can you repeat that again, please?
Sure. So what I'm saying is that let's say I don't know where you lost me, but let's say you have product you sent to one location, your competitor sent to 5 locations, where that got spread around all over the United States. Let's say Amazon put 100 units, let's say in Houston, Texas, and their FC there. You don't have that product there because you did placement fees and Amazon distributed around to other warehouses, but it's not in Houston. Now, Amazon is going to promote your product for 2 reasons. One reason is because, not your product, your competitor's product. One reason is they're spending less shipping money to get it delivered to the end user. Because from Houston to Houston costs them less than pulling it, let's say, from South Carolina or Georgia or Florida to bring it to Houston. That's one reason. So they'll strategically put it higher up in the search. When a customer searches for your product, they'll put your competitor higher up because it's going to get quicker to them. That's one reason. Second reason is the customer itself sees like, hey, your competitor, I could get it delivered today in the afternoon. I could get it delivered tomorrow morning. Your product, I could only get it delivered in 2 days. So I want it quick, right? So I'm going to buy your competitor's product. So that's one reason that's healthier spread is always good. Second thing is you're saving potentially a lot of money because placement fees, you're paying anywhere between 26, 29 cents to 60 cents per unit for placement fees. Now, if you have smaller units and you, let's say, fit in 1,000 units on a pallet, you're paying around $300 minimum in placement fees alone. So our flat rate shipping option is anywhere between 220 to 195, depending if you're a customer, a 3PL customer or not. But it's still way cheaper than the placement fees. So you're paying $300 for placement fees, plus you still have to pay trucking into Amazon. So that's potentially $330, $350 total for delivery of that pallet. Versus if you're using SplitSmart, you have the healthy spread, you're paying cheaper, and you're getting it in anywhere between 5 to 10 business days, depending where it's going to. So if it's going locally, that will get delivered within 5 days. If it's going from, let's say, West Coast to East Coast, East Coast to West Coast, that could take up to 10 days. But it's much faster than Amazon partner carriers, and it's just a way healthier way how to sell on Amazon. Obviously, if it works in your margin. If you're using AWD, it's going to be very similar as well. If you take the AWD cost, you take all our costs together as well, you're going to be paying cheaper or a little bit more than AWD, depending on the case, obviously, because case packs are different. 24 units, 50 units, 100 units in a case pack. All these things make a difference. So every brand is different. You have to calculate your rate based on your unit count or your size and everything. But that's basically the main benefits of doing that. And the main thing is they're all live unloads. I mean, say like when we say 5 to 10 days, they actually get a check in and get received within that 5 to 10 day period. And then the FC spread, where it goes to FC processing, where it gets transferred, FC transfer, that's a much quicker transfer versus if you put everything in California, for example, where they are overworked and overloaded with loads regardless, because that's where a huge chunk of the inventory comes in from. You spread it around the United States, that will get it quicker on the shelves as well for sales.
Understood. Okay, so for people that want to learn more, I know you have a QR code, right?
Correct.
Where can people go?
So let me pull it up. Share.
And then we'll also link it up below in the show notes for people that are listening.
Sure. This QR code will take you right away to my meetings link where you could have a Zoom call, or you can WhatsApp me on 347-461-4520. That's my direct number. Or you can email me. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to find. Whatever method works for you, I'm always happy to help do an audit or figure out if you could do things better, or if whatever you're doing is good, I'll tell you it's good. I'm not here to tell you I do it better. No, if you're doing something right, I'm going to tell you do it right. So let's say, Gary, I know if you were a seller and you're doing everything perfectly fine, I'm saying like, why break it? Why change things around? Everything's perfect. But if you are having issues and you're not sure what to do or you need some help with that, I'm always here to help. I do not charge for that. I'm always here to help people. That's what I love about e-commerce. That's what I love about the Amazon community is that all us service providers are here to help each other out and help sellers out to be successful on Amazon.
Yeah, thank you for that. And we also have a exclusive offer for the seven-figure seller community, 2 months free storage at your Paris, California warehouse. Is that right?
Correct? And we also have that if you want to transfer over from a different facility to our facility, we could do a free transfers as well. So it's either or you get 2 months free storage, or you could choose free transfers. Sometimes it could be a little expensive. If you have 10, 15 truckloads that you need to transfer over, trucking and receiving is waived. So people could choose either or. But that's our main promotion that we have currently is that 2 months free storage.
Okay. And you can get started at your website, tacticallogistic.com, right?
Correct.
Okay.
They'll find the URL there for our WMS system, but they could reach out to me directly. I could walk them through the rates and everything clearly so they could understand everything clearly.
All right. Excellent. Any other final piece of advice before we go, Ephraim?
Um, it's a tough road out there, and a lot of people get discouraged and like sometimes when I talk is like I'm trying to scare off people, but I just want you to be focused and know what you're doing. So if you're doing well, you're nervous about what the future brings, don't be nervous because it doesn't help at all. Just stay relaxed, stay focused, and live with the punches. Like keep on pivoting. Like if Amazon makes a change, see how you can make the change that you could stay successful in your business. Amazon increases fees, decreases, changes a policy. Always stay on top of it. And if you stay on top of it, there's hundreds and thousands of sellers that I've met personally that do very well still with all these issues and all these hurdles. They're just focused. Whatever they face, whatever happens to them, try to figure out a way how to go around it. Once they figure it out, they move forward. So that's what I would say is just stay positive and stay focused. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing to be successful.
That's golden advice. Thank you, Ephraim. And for those of you guys that are tuning in, we did a live training recently with Ephraim and with Sebastian Hertz from Signify Global Sourcing. And I mean, today we would just focus on logistics, but that training, we talked about the whole picture. We talked about marketing. We talked about, getting your listings ready for holiday. So if you haven't checked it out, we'll link it up below in the show notes. So definitely check out that 1 hour training. This way you get the complete picture. All right. And then Ephraim was on that call as well. So I think you'll get even more value seeing the big picture. All right.
Right. And
So
Sebastian was really clear on that too. It was a lot of good, I call that a lot of good nuggets were talked about there, and it was a little more in detail, like on dates and things like that. So it's important to watch.
yeah, yeah. So we'll link it up below. We'll see you at that session, guys. So thank you, Ephraim. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you at the next session. Bye everybody.